Okay, I think we must be live now.
I got the notification, but don't see it yet. Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Nice.
So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the third session of our Informed Voices Media Literacy webinar series. We are thrilled to have you join us tonight as we continue to explore powerful ways to integrate media literacy into education. Today's session is titled Teaching Media Literacy Strategies That Work. And we are excited to host two passionate educators who will share their classroom experiences and practical insights with us. Let's dive in and get inspired. Our first speaker is Gabriela Pasztohy, an English and media literacy teacher and a 2024 Fulbright Scholar at UW-Madison from Hungary. Gabriela has done remarkable work bringing media literacy into her language classes in meaningful and engaging ways. Dear Gabi, the stage is yours.
Okay, hello and good evening or good afternoon for everyone, depending on the time zones. I'm in Hungary and it's almost 6 o'clock now. And it's an honor to be here. Thank you, Shalala, for inviting me to share my practicum, my practices in media literacy teaching. And like Ms. Mamadli said, I'm an English teacher and also a media literacy teacher. And today, the main goal is to show you practical things, what you can actually use in your teaching. Many of my ideas came from the University of Wisconsin, where we spent 6 weeks with Miss Mamadli. And I instantly put them into practice, and I can assure you that they do work. So it's really worth spreading these ideas. Okay, let me start sharing my screen. I hope it works fine. Can you see my slide?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so how do I go on? Let me see. It's just difficult for me to step to the next. Okay, maybe here. Okay, so here on the screen now you can see the books cover that we use for teaching media literacy and cinematography. Usually this subject is taught in 11th grade in secondary schools and in 8th grade in primary schools. So the national core curriculum does have this subject, and it is only a 1 year long subject in my school, which means we have one lesson per week, altogether 34 lessons in the academic year. And we provide the course book online to the students. And we don't have any summative assessments here. We only formatively assess their performance, and no grading is required at the end of the course. Usually, students are relatively moderately interested in the subject in the beginning, but as we dig deeper and dive deeper, they kind of get the hang of it and become enthusiastic. And every year I have at least one student who makes it as a career choice and go for further education in the topic of media literacy, communication, or broadcasting. The National Core Curriculum describes what media literacy should be about in Hungary. And actually, it goes into detail, which I don't want to share with you because it takes a lot of time, but we have two goals in teaching media literacy. The main goal is teaching media literacy itself. And with this, of course, we have to raise awareness of opinion forming and social communication online. We have to make them able to choose from the content in a wise way. Students have to be able to navigate in the world of internet confidently and responsibly. And also they have to learn about how to represent themselves and be there, be present in a safe way. The other goal, the second goal, is cinematography. And maybe it's surprising for some of you, but in Hungary, it's part of the subject. So we have to teach kids to kind of read and understand the formal language of films, documentaries, feature films, all kinds of films. So we usually have like 10 lessons on that. It's partly theoretical, but after some theory, we always put it into practice. I will show you how. I don't know if you've ever thought about the different levels of media literacy. This is something, it's not I invented. I read it in the National Core Curriculum, that it has basically 3 levels. The first level, the basic level, is the ability to use technology skillfully. Most students know a lot about it, but if you consider, for example, editing video clips or editing audio files, they might not be that professional in that. So there's always a point to teach applications or softwares that can do that. So when they learn to use technology skillfully, they already have some knowledge, but you can always improve that. The second level is the ability to process, understand, and select media content. So what's there out in the online space and how to choose from it. And the third level, which is the most proficient level, is the ability to create media content. And they do it. They do, because they post things. They have their own views to share online, but you have to teach them how to do it safely in a non-offensive way that's ethical. So these are the 3 levels we try to practice. Some of these are incorporated into other subjects like ICT, information and computer technology, but media literacy subject can offer this knowledge too. I'm not going into detail very much. On the next slide, this is about what topics we cover in media literacy and what topics in cinematography. As you see, 2/3 of the material is about media literacy and about 1/3 is designated to the language of films, and mainly about Hungarian films. We learn about Hungarian valuable works of art. Yeah. Okay, so let's go and take a look at the practical things that you could use in your classrooms that ensure student involvement. One of the things I studied and learned in Wisconsin, the University of Wisconsin, is the Socratic seminars. I don't know if you have already talked about it or not, but this is something which sounds so natural and how to say, so obvious to use, but we rarely use it. This is, to me, a flipped classroom approach. So what I do with the Socratic seminar, I assign 1 chapter in the book to my kids, and they have to read it at home carefully. It means that they have to make notes and annotations. They have to number the paragraphs, even the lines, so they can refer back to the text easily. And having read the text, they come to class, and in the class, we create this Socratic seminar setup. If you have lots of students, and in my class, I usually have about 30 students, you can create 2 circles, an inner circle of students who actually discuss the input text, and an outer circle, the half of the group, is just observing in the first round. And then in the second half of the lesson, they swap places. People who were sitting in the inner circle will move to the outer circle and observe the second round of discussion. And what is this discussion like? It's great. It's great. It's very democratic. For example, the teacher is not to ask any questions or lead the discussion in any way, just enhance or moderate the conversation between the students, so they can come up with their ideas, thoughts, they refer back to the text where they read it and what they think about it. And everyone in the inner circle should participate in the discussion. It can be asking a question or answering a question, or just, give a comment on something. So it doesn't have to be a big thing, but some kind of a contribution. And when there's a little break in the discussion, the teacher can help it move forward and give others the chance to speak. And everybody has to listen carefully and not to interrupt the speaking person. And after everybody had a chance to participate in the conversation, some comments, questions, and answers can be added by the teacher as a clue. You can highlight it on the board and give as a clue to the kids. And they have to quote from the text. They have to rely on the text when they discuss the points and ideas. You can agree or disagree with the comments, but not the individuals. So you never go offensive. And it's important to keep it going. And if the last person who spoke takes a little pause or a silence, they can always call on someone that has not spoken yet. And this is a very good way to share ideas and make everyone participate in a non-offensive way. The second thing I recommend you to do is analyzing a film or a documentary scene. First here, you have to teach about this formal language of films, like the frames, scenes, how films are edited, the photography. So you teach some concepts about it, and when they kind of familiarized with the concepts, you choose a film scene and you just make them watch it twice. And the students in groups of 6 or 8 analyze it. How we do it? I usually give them a little card. I will show you in the next slide. And on the card, they have one thing, one attribute to look forward or to look for in the scene. For example, the lighting, or the use of colors in the film, or how the camera moved. And everybody has their own specific attribute to look for. And when we watch the scene twice, we come together, the groups come together in their 6 and 8 students, share what they found about the film, they take notes about it, and then as a whole class, we share what we found. And I wrote a little quote here in the last bullet: "Teacher, you have ruined my enjoyment in watching a film." So this is one of my students told me, because you enjoy the films without ever analyzing them. You just let them make an impact on you. But this is a different point of view. Now they can really analyze it and see how it works. And yes, for a little time, I think it ruins the enjoyment of movies, but later on, it deepens your understanding about cinematography. So I really recommend you to do this. And let me show you the cards. This is what the cards look like. Actually, these are PPT slides printed in color, and I just glued them on cardboard. So it won't ruin that easily. And the different colors represent different point of views. Like the red one is how the camera moves during the scene. Or the blue one, what are the frames, the planes? So what exactly can you see on the screen? Or how time is represented in the scene, or how they represent space in the scene or in the film. So these are very specific and quite theoretical things, but because they have this in their hands and they have to focus only on one thing, It absolutely, I think, works for them. And it's fun to listen to them when they share their ideas. Third idea you can take into class. I don't know if you speak about media generations.
I think we are experiencing some connection problems. Dear Gabi, can you hear us?
Hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, good. You know, I unplugged the wired internet and the Wi-Fi works. So where did you lose thread? So media generations.
Yes.
You can ask your students to create a personal media history, and you can ask them to create a survey or an interview for their family members in which they can discover how media environment have changed over the generations. And let me show you some possible questions they might ask in the survey or in the interview. Like, how were you informed about the current events of the world? Or which newspapers, magazines were you reading at that time? Or when did you watch TV? For example, in Hungary, we didn't have television broadcast every day in my childhood. Or which radio programs did you used to listen to? Or let me just choose two more. When did you get your first mobile phone? Or when did you send your first text message? Then you can ask these questions from your family members. And when you have this recorded, you can record it on an audio, or you create a little video on it. They can bring it back to class. And as a group, they can edit it. And the edited material can be kind of something to share with the audience of the class, or for the audience of the next year. I mean, the next upcoming year. Okay, the fourth idea. This is, I don't think it's very new when you analyze news and compare printed news with online news, what the difference is in the structure, and you have to make them conscious and aware how the news work, what the 5W and the 1H means in news. And I also saw it in the US that they use different color highlighters to differentiate between fact and opinion in a news report. So you can always do that. You just bring in any article. It can be printed, and you can check the same thing online and compare how it's presented, because online news often have links, quotes, tags, videos attached. So it's completely horizontal compared to a printed article. And this is where lateral reading becomes very useful. I also practiced it in the US, in Wisconsin. And the next slide is about lateral reading. What happens here is that you have a piece of information or a news item, and you want to check if it's credible, and lateral reading is the way to check it. It means that you open a tab and you look for the same piece of information, the same news item on different web pages. Preferably use trusted sources. And very quickly you compare them, and very soon you can figure out how much of the news item is real and whether it's fake or partly true. Okay, so this is what lateral reading can do, and I really recommend it to do in class. For example, when you want to debug fake news, so you can select online news items, some real, others are fake. I found some fake news generator online, so you can even generate fake news for your students. And then they have to investigate and find out which piece of news is real or just made up. Usually speed matters because the fastest student gets scores. And this is how we play it, like a little competition. Okay, getting to the last but one idea. Number six is gamified media literacy. This is only available in English. So either you take it to English classes, or if your students already learn English, you can try that in media literacy or social studies classes too. And I saw all these in the University of Wisconsin. I don't know, Shalala, if we will share the slides with the listeners, but these are links where you can actually find these games. Bad News, Harmony Square, Cat Park, and Gerrymander. These are all games to play, but you can learn from how fake news, disinformation work. For example, getbadnews.com. It's a web page where you can discover the dynamics of fake news. You play the game by choosing one answer. It's like a chat going on, and you are always offered two possible utterances in the chat, and you have to choose one of the utterances, and based on your choice it goes on, and then you again get another choice to make. And it just very funny because it measures how credible you are. Can you lie credibly, or you are easily debugged? So this is one of the fun things that students can play. The other one is the Harmony Square. It's about fake news. It is set in an idyllic place, Harmony Square. It's a small neighborhood, mildly obsessed with democracy. And you, as the player, you have to send disinformation into the community. And your job is to disturb the peace and quiet of the community through disinformation. Okay, this is the description. I'm not going into very many details here. It's like for age 15 or older. And there is a teacher's toolkit available for the game. So you can also download it on the web page of the game. And I also attached it here so you can find the toolkit. And Cat Park is, again, a game about disinformation. The set is the following. You have recently moved to a new city and you receive a mysterious message to join a group campaigning against a new park for cats. Your job is to turn the public against the park using common disinformation techniques. And when you go into the game, you have to just, navigate the conversation and the posts so that you can really turn the public against the cat park. Again, there's the teacher's toolkit for the game to build up your lesson plan. And finally, my seventh idea is trending. I don't know if you use Google Trends in your own language. Every now and then I check it because Google Trends shows you what was searched online on the search engine. You can go for specific countries or a specific time frame, and you will see what words were Googled in many times. So that's trending, of course. And you can always compare if the news covered the same issue. And you can see the dynamics between online searches and news coverage. And you can discuss with your students what influences what comes first. The online searches and then the media reflects to this, or it's the other way around. Okay, so these are my 7 ideas. And I just tell you, even if you are an English teacher, just incorporate it into your classes and students will be very interested in it. Thank you for your attention.
Dear Gabriela, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and for sharing all of those practical and inspiring strategies with us. And we will have Q&A session at the end. So now I would like to welcome our second guest, Mrs. Yulia Bilych from Kazakhstan. She's an English and media literacy teacher at the Nazarbayev Intellectual School of Physics and Mathematics. And she has been implementing media literacy techniques in STEM-focused environments, and she brings a unique perspective. So, Yulia, we are excited to hear from you. Please.
Okay, so now I am going to share my screen. So just a second. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see it's visible.
Yes.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. So it's practically 9:30 in Kazakhstan. So it's a pleasure for me to be here and to share my journey in teaching media literacy. So a topic which I find not only relevant, but I think it's essential for today's learners. So my personal journey into media literacy education began in 2020, so during the period of the pandemic and online learning. So I took part in a course called English for Media Literacy. And it completely reshaped my perspective, both as a teacher and as a consumer of media. So by the time we completed the course, I felt inspired and empowered to pass this knowledge on to my students. So this is how the idea for a school elective course was born. So just wanted to tell a bit about the school I teach at. So this is an academically selective school. So for gifted, talented students, and we teach grades 7 to 12. So English for media literacy is an elective course. So this is not a part of curriculum, but every year we promote this course for the students of 8th or 9th grade. So let me explain how elective courses work at our school. So every year we hold an elective course fair. So it's really an exciting event where students can explore different options and sign up for the topic they are really interested in. So once a group is formed, we begin the classes, and that's when the real journey begins. So teaching media literacy is no longer optional, so it's a necessity today. So according to scholars, media literacy is about much more than understanding content. So it's the ability to access, evaluate, and create media texts while understanding the norms, values, and ethics of participation in online and offline communities. So now students are not just passive consumers, so they are active participants in digital culture. So that's why it is essential to teach them how to question, analyze, and understand the messages they see and later share. So it teaches students to look beyond the surface and understand the social and economic forces behind what they consume. So teaching media literacy is also teaching critical thinking skills like analyzing sources, identifying bias, questioning motives, and evaluating credibility. So teaching this course is also about critical thinking, so which is really important in our school too. So now moving on to more practical part, yes, of this conversation. So in our media literacy elective course, we cover a wide range of topics that refer not only to media concepts. So as you can see, yes, so the name of the elective course is English for Media Literacy, yes, so we focus on both language and media literacy concepts. So this wide range of topics refer not only to media concepts, but also to language systems, vocabulary, grammar, and functional language, so especially functional language, and also skills, reading, listening, speaking, and writing. So some of the core topics include, so the questions like what's media, so what is media literacy and how to analyze messages, so how to recognize fake news, yes, so what is misinformation, what is disinformation. So a really interesting topic is media bias. So when students are taught to recognize bias by omission, by placement, by spin. And of course, something what students find really interesting is the topic of advertising. So they really like learning so these persuasive techniques in advertising, and then so creating something using these techniques. So to support this kind of learning, so I carefully select, adapt the material, and I mostly use these three so websites. The first one is Common Sense Education. So here you can find age-appropriate resources on digital citizenship, social media, and advertising. So here you can find free lesson plans with interesting activities, and I would like to focus your attention on one of the activities a bit later. So, sorry, forgot to show. Yeah, so this is how you can select, yes, for the specific age, for the specific grade. So the next one is News Literacy Project. So here you can also find free lesson plans, presentations, posters, which can be discussed and shared with students. So the other platform I really like using is Teachers Pay Teachers, because so this is the material designed by the same teachers. Yeah, so the teachers who have the same, maybe practically the same experience. So here there are some free resources available, but usually you buy so the material, and I really like so the activities suggested or offered by other teachers. And here you can see so how my students are using so the worksheets from these resources. So this combination allows me to mix academic frameworks with engaging hands-on materials that work well for teenagers. So, and now I'm going to, so show the activity I really like. So the activity you can find on Common Sense Education. So I really like assigning family tasks. So these are the activities the students complete together with their parents. So why is it so important? So we understand that media literacy doesn't stop at the classroom door, and parents play a crucial role in how children form their media habits. So involving these activities, I mean family tasks, yes, encourages meaningful conversation at home, bridges the generation gap in digital understanding, and helps build a whole community approach to critical thinking. So as you can see, so here I have two samples of these activities, and they are really simple. So usually, so students with their parents have to watch a video and discuss it, or maybe discuss a picture, a photo, maybe analyze an advert. So simple tasks, but they make a big difference in building awareness and shared responsibility. So as I mentioned, there are a lot of elective courses in our school, and of course, you have to spark interest and keep students engaged. And I think that active learning techniques so really help. Yeah. So here, and I use a range of active learning techniques. Today, I'm going to share 3 of them. So I believe that learning media literacy should be as interactive and stimulating as the media itself. So let me show you a few examples to prove that my students are really enthusiastic. So they were really enthusiastic when I asked the permission to share these videos and photos, and they really wanted to share it with you. So the first activity is chair race. So really it is just a multiple choice activity. So with 3 options, when the students are shown, so the sentence with a gap, so students form 2 or 3 teams. When they are shown the sentence, they just need to quickly move to the chair and choose the best option. So not the best, yes, so the correct option, and sit on it. So let me show you the part of this activity. Okay. Of course, this activity can be used in the English language classroom, yes. So when you want to vary how you work with multiple choice tasks, but it really works also in media literacy classroom. So the next activity is envelope race. So students work in pairs. So it's a really competitive game. So a little competition. So when students have to take so all these envelopes, so they contain cut up words. So usually they have to rearrange so the words to form a correct sentence, maybe statement about media literacy. So the activity assesses so 2 things, yes, so speed and accuracy. So the first pair to finish gets 5 points, the second 4, yes, and so on and so on. So after they finish, they are shown the correct answers, and the representative of each pair comes to the other pair to check. So then the points are summed up, and the team with the highest score wins. So teenagers really like competitions. So I'm going to show how it works. So just a short video. So then they quickly run to take the next envelope. So, and the next activity I'm going to tell you about is the competition my students had after covering so the topic of advertising. So they learned how to use persuasive techniques, yes, so how to choose target audience, how to address this target audience, and they had to advertise their product. So now I'm going to show you so these videos just to feel how optimistic and enthusiastic the students are about doing these things.
And we are the night way how to tackle research and its story.
And of course, they continue. Yes, so this is just a short part.
But and also delicious that when you eat delicious foodies or snacks, you forget about the calories, about the calories, and all this stuff. Delicious snacks and hot tea is waiting for you in our bakery. So please have by our focus and
So these techniques make abstract ideas concrete, yes, and they also allow students to be involved in the learning process. So, but one of the most exciting parts of the course has been the student project. So now the students are in the 11th grade, yes, so we finished the course, but after learning about media literacy, yes, so they really wanted to share their knowledge. They wanted to create something useful, and they decided to design an application to help teach media literacy to two target audiences, so children and teenagers. And as you can see, they even participated in one competition. So it was a fair for scientific projects where they had the award for the best media literacy project. So it is not going to be easy, and even ICT teachers told us that it's going to be quite difficult, but they have their own plan. So they have the plan for June, for July, and they plan to finish working on this application by the beginning of the new academic year to present it to the audience. So at the moment, they are working on content and design, considering what types of media children consume, so what methods would keep teens engaged, so how to make so the app informative but not overwhelming. So through this, they develop not only language skills and digital competence, but also empathy, collaboration, and problem-solving skills. So to conclude, so I believe that media literacy is a life skill, and one of the best ways we can prepare our students for the future. It's about helping young people question, analyze, create, and reflect. So it blends English learning, so in our context, yes, so it blends English learning with critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and global citizenship. So what began as personal learning experience turned into a powerful classroom transformation. So, and I hope that by sharing it with you today, so you also feel encouraged to explore similar paths in your own schools, in your own learning contexts. So thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, dear Yulia. It was wonderful to observe your students' enthusiasm, how you practically implement all the necessary knowledge, using engaging ways of instilling media literacy skills. So thank you so much for sharing with us. And now I think it's high time. It's time to move to the next part of our session, question answer. So we have one question from the audience. You can answer. How do you think should there be, a certain kind of organization that filters or checks the accuracy and correctness of news on TV and radio?
I wonder who asked this, because it's a hot issue today in Hungary. We have just a new law was passed, and it's about filtering content, kind of like a censorship.
Yeah.
So, for example, if a media representative is funded from abroad, from foreign money, it's not acceptable anymore. Which is a great issue. I think it brings up issues like the freedom of speech or the free press.
Yeah.
But understandably, it's very hard to provide safe environment in media and to provide people with safe, reliable pieces of information. So something has to be done, but maybe not censorship, but some other ways of filtering useless and harmful information.
And maybe being media literate is one of the best options, right? So, Miss Julia?
So this is also what I wanted to add, yes. So if we teach our students to analyze, to reflect, yes, so to recognize, yes, so fake news or something what can harm you. So this is, I think, the best way, yeah.
Yeah, and one more question. What was the biggest challenge that you have faced when you were implementing this course, and how did you overcome? So the biggest challenge and the ways of overcoming it.
So can I start?
Yes, please.
For me, I wouldn't say that this is the biggest challenge, but as the course is elective, yes, so it is optional. So that's why students can miss lessons, yes, if they have something so planned for this day. So really it is designed for 24 hours, so 12 lessons, 3 months, yes, but sometimes you have to delay lessons, yes, and of course it affects how you feel, yes. You start questioning, so whether it is interesting for students, yes, but I can see the reaction of this specific group, yes, so even when they finished, so covered practically everything, so they wanted to know more. So, and I had to dig deeper, yes, with them, and to so create more topics, presentations, yes, and so now I think we are doing a really interesting thing, yes, and so I really like that they want to be useful. But so these moments about being optional, yes, sometimes they affect how you feel about the course you teach.
Dear Gabi?
Yes, I think I'm on the flip side of the coin because Julia's students choose it, and I guess they are motivated because they chose the subject. My students cannot choose; they have it in the timetable, and very often in the beginning they ask, "What's the point of this? It's a complete waste of time. It's another burden on us." So I think every year I have to spend like 2, 3, 4 weeks or even a month to persuade them that it's a very hot topic, very useful. And I guess we should have more lessons than just one per week for 1 year. It should be incorporated in our everyday school life, I would say. So that's a challenge. And another challenge is when we discuss news items, it's always intertwined with politics, and it makes it hard. Politics makes it hard.
Yes, as usual. And one more question. Is there an activity that consistently works well with your students? Let's say their favorite activity.
In my case, it's the one with the cards. So when we watch a scene from a movie, maybe something that they recommend because they are interested in it, and then we analyze it. They really like it.
So my students really like moving around the classroom, yes. So that's why I think everything that involves movement.
Yes, and one more question. You said that there is no grading in this course, right? So I have a question. How do you assess your students' media literacy skills? How can you see that they are really proficient, that now they are more self-aware?
So as my course is English for media literacy, I assess not only to what extent media literate they are, yes. So I also assess how they work with vocabulary, yes, because they are usually introduced vocabulary, and they also have to work with it, yes. So they can be shown the video and they have to do the task, yes. So some kind of listening task, for example, to fill in the gaps, yes. So, and of course I use these tasks as a part of formative assessment for me to know whether they understand so the meaning of these words and they can use these words. So for example, the part of the video which was shown was about using different models, yes, and it's about how to address the audience so that you can, for example, persuade them, so which models to use. So, and of course, they are given so the specific situations when it's about media literacy. For example, they were one of the tasks, yes, they were given some kind of thought patterns, yes. So when we discussed bias, and if they can recognize, yes, so how it works, and for example, who will be blamed for something in this situation, yes. So this is how I also assess, yes, whether it works with them, so whether they understand the situation, so whether they become more aware about how bias, for example, works in our society. So just as I do with English tasks, English language tasks.
Okay, and
Well,
Gabi?
yeah, in my case, nothing really. I mean, I use some formative assessment. They really like playing Kahoot. So when we just cover one issue, next lesson, we start with the Kahoot on that issue, just to check if they still have the concepts and understand it. And to me, it's a feedback that over the weeks, they become more and more reflective, and they want to participate and contribute and share their ideas. So ultimately, you see that they become really interested. And like I said, I always have at least one person who chooses this as a career option and leave the school with a final exam in media literacy, which is the best I think a teacher can hope for.
Okay, and I guess this is our last question. What advice would you give to teachers just starting their media literacy journey?
Well, be up to date. So never stop studying the new things, because media evolves at a huge speed, especially with AI. And I think AI will change the whole way we communicate and we understand things in the world. So yeah, so those who start with this subject, they have to be very active in discovering the new things and new issues in the field.
Miss,
Okay, and so the recommendation from me. So I think that it is really beneficial if you have some kind of foundation, some kind of course, yes, you take part in, so which helps you understand, yes, so some key moments about media literacy, and then you are able to, yeah, so to help others understand these things. So, and if you teach media literacy, you have to learn every day.
yes, yes, sure. Okay, before we wrap up, I would like just to remind quickly that this was the third webinar in our six-part series, and participants who actively attend at least 4 sessions and answer the questions in the quiz. So they will receive a certificate of participation from us, from STEP Azerbaijan. And thank you again, dear Gabi, dear Yulia, for joining us tonight, for sharing your valuable strategies and experiences. And I hope that our teachers gained new ideas and inspiration to bring back to their classrooms. And be sure to follow us and join us next week, the same time. And until then, stay informed and media smart. So see you next time. Good evening again. Have a great time. See you next
Goodbye,
time.
everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.